Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Propeller Club of Northern California. And today we have a presentation by Peter Dreyfuss and Jonathan Dreyfuss of Watermaster International, and we will get to them in just a second. I hope everybody is well. Up here in Northern California, the scene behind me is deceptive. It is still cloudy and we still have fire. So we have fire engines coming up and down here, but things have slowed down, at least in Santa Rosa. Unfortunately, our friends in Napa are not doing as well. So I hope all of you are well, and you know, it's just another part of the fire season, and that's just where we are. I am going to start by introducing everybody, and I just want to make sure that we have everybody in who is in, and I have Todd, can you just indicate whether we've got everybody admitted so far?
Just someone else. Kim just came in.
Got it. Yeah.
All right. Everybody else is in so far.
Great. Very good. Okay. So I am going to start on what I have here, which is Todd Crawshaw. Would you introduce yourself?
Hi, Todd Crawshaw, Crawshaw Design. We provide integrated brand marketing for print and web and IT support.
Very good. I see somebody whose last name is Jenkins. Could you introduce yourself? There's somebody named Jenkins here?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you
This is Jenkins Dawson from. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, yes. My name is Jenkins Dawson, and I'm with the Port of Anacortes up in Anacortes in Washington State.
Very good. Well, welcome, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you.
And I see Brad. Brad, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning, Brad Johnson, Harbor Master, Port of Anacortes. We were notified of this meeting through the PCC. So a couple of people here from the Port of Anacortes interested in this technology.
Well, Brad, thank you very much. We welcome your participation. We had your boss the last time, so we seem to be having a lot of communication with Anacortes. You're in a lovely part of the world. I remember the tulip fields going towards you. And how's your weather up there?
Well, today is beautiful, sunny. It's supposed to be 75, so I think we've got your weather today.
Yeah, well, we've got our smoke today. So in any case, we will both try and do better. Mr. Coleman, I see you here. Good morning.
Good morning, Stas. How are you doing today?
Jonathan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. John Coleman, the CEO of the, oh, I'm sorry, wrong Don. Go on.
No, go ahead.
No, please.
John Coleman, CEO of the Bay Planning Coalition.
Very good. John, I'm going to come back and ask you to give us a short update on your dredging program that's up in what, a week or 2 weeks? 2 weeks. Got it. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. I have our good friend, Mr. Wallenberg. How are you? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Nice to see you, everybody, see everybody's faces. I'm Ellis Wallenberg. I'm with Weiss Associates. We're environmental engineers. And I'm also on the Bay Planning Coalition working with John Coleman.
Very good. Ellis, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. And you are well?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, very good. And is there any smoke out of your window this morning?
No, we're by the Baker Beach and the Golden Gate Bridge, and you can't see the bridge, you can't see anything. It's just socked in with fog, which is good. It keeps us wet and it keeps the air cleaner.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Alice. Mr. Osborne, good morning. I understand you're filling in for somebody who's a victim of a dental appointment.
He is. Hello, everyone. I'm Jeremy Osborne, CTO of Boundary Layer Technologies. We build hydrofoil cargo ships to ultimately compete with air freight. And a young tech startup moved here from Australia, and I think we'll give a little bit more detail at some point.
Yes, Jeremy, I'm going to come back and ask you to give us a few words in just a minute. Thank you very much. I have, okay, Todd, for some reason, these things keep jumping around. Okay, Jonathan, who's Jonathan? Did we do Jonathan?
I am Jonathan.
Jonathan, okay, you're Jonathan. Well, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, absolutely. I'm Jonathan Dreyfuss. I'm a co-founder and president of Watermaster North America, and with my brother Peter. And we are here today to introduce the Watermaster AMB 5000 to you folks today. Very glad to be here.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Mr. Kim Arabe, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Captain Arabe. I'm attached to the Red Oak Victory in Richmond.
And how are you doing any work on that ship now?
Oh yeah, we're continuing the maintenance because we can work independently and in pods, so to speak, but no visitors.
Okay, well, we hope that will change soon. And I see Dilip, Mr. Trivedi. Would you like to introduce yourself? Dilip, are you there? There. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, he's there, but he's here in spirit. Okay. I have somebody who's on a 510 area code. Who is that?
Hey, Stas, is Ron Brown. So I'm going to just be on mute because I'm sort of mobile and I don't want to have you listen to all the background noise. So,
very good.
But good afternoon, everyone.
Ron, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, Ron Brown with the Port of Oakland, and we're certainly interested in all kinds of dredging. So I'm just happy to be listening in. I've got background noise where I'm at, so I'm going to try to keep it down and keep it muted.
Very good, Ron. Thank you very much. Peter Dreyfuss.
Hello there. I'm the other co-founder, and we had to do this since we were born as brothers.
Okay. All right. I got Jeremy and hold on a second. I saw Susan Sullivan. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
See, am I muted?
No, you're unmuted. We can hear you and we can see you.
Hi. Hi.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sue Sullivan. I'm the manager of Pasha Hawaii over high and wide cargo, and I'm a member of the board of directors for the Propeller Club.
Susan, how is the situation in Hawaii?
It's slow for the people there. You know, COVID has got them locked down. Hopefully next month they'll be able to make some inroads into that. So we'll just they're progressing. They've got a few hot spots, but they're trying very hard to get their numbers down and get back online, get some tourism started again. They're very eager to get up and running again.
Absolutely. Well, we all hope that this is going to get better because, of course, tourism is a big part of the Hawaii economy. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Hi. This is Dilip. I joined STAS too. I couldn't do the computer thing, so I called in separately and I'm on Zoom.
Who is that?
This is Dilip Trivedi.
Oh, Dilip. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. Okay, Dilip, introduce yourself.
Dilip Trivedi, Moffat and Nickel, coastal engineer, and a planning coalition, working on a variety of things related to dredging, beneficial use, resiliency, and dredging.
Very good. Dilip, welcome and thank you for your participation.
Sure.
Commander Rivera, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay. Can you guys see me?
We can see you.
You hear me, right?
And we can hear you.
Yeah.
Morning, team. My name is Commander Rob Rivera. I'm your Chief of Prevention, Marine Safety overall for Coast Guard Sector San Francisco.
Very good. Commander, welcome and thank you for your participation. Good. I see Christine Zortman. Christine, are you there? Going once, Christine, going twice. I'm asking Christine to unmute and not getting any there. And Patrick Neal, you want to introduce yourself? Did I get to you?
Sure. Pat Neal, Pacific Maritime Group. We're a San Diego-based marine services dredging construction company. We're up here currently in the Bay Area dredging the Petaluma River.
Oh, well, Patrick, you stay there because I'm very close to Petaluma and I'd like you to just give us maybe a 2-minute drill about how the progress is going there.
Sure.
Okay, so let me come from the top. I'm going to start and ask John Coleman, will you come back and give us a brief update on what's going on with your, you have a dredging meeting coming up.
Thank you, Stas. We actually have two things related to dredging. We have our Dredging Beneficial Reuse Committee meeting later today for BPC members, and it's going to be open to those non-members initially. We have Eric Saperstein from ENS Resources, who's does lobbying efforts in Washington, D.C., and he's going to be talking about WRDA, which is actually in discussion right now in D.C.
Right.
With Roger Cockrell. And Roger Cockrell used to be the head Senate budget writer under Senator Feinstein for the Corps of Engineers. Roger and Eric work together, so they're going to be talking about that. And then we're going to go into what I'd call a private section. That's where the regulators are then going to be asked to get off the call and talk about our upcoming workshop, and then our long-term management strategy. We're going to talk about the RM Regional Management Monitoring Program from SFEI and dredging legislation and policy. In terms of the meeting coming up on, and I'm trying to find it here right now, this is a draft agenda, and I'm pulling it up for the our dredging beneficial reuse workshop, which is different than the committee meeting, and this is where we charge people to attend. And let me get it here right now. And so that's going to be on October 22nd from 9 to noon. And Josh Gravemeyer from Arcadis is the chair of that committee. So we'll be talking about the Dredger's Handbook that's being developed right now, and it covers the DMMO process and history, and we're actually going to be providing editing on that. We're a very short time frame. DMMO is giving us 1 week to review and make comments. But I wish it sort of worked the other way around. When we deal with regulators, they keep asking for more and more time. They're telling us you have 1 week and that's it. And so we're going to be talking about that. And we're also going to be talking about the San Francisco Regional Dredge Material Management Plan. And one of our speakers is Stu Townsley, who's number 2 for the district for division at the Corps in San Francisco. Stu is a great guy to work with. He's a problem solver, and we're looking at getting somebody from the Chesapeake Bay Chesapeake Bay to talk about how their regional dredging management plan differs from California. Then we're going to be talking about the Stockton Channel deepening update with Jeff Wingfield from the Port of Stockton, and looking at having as a counterpoint to that, either Ryan Hernandez from Contra Costa County or either supervisors John Joy or Federal Glover from Contra Costa County, because they have some concerns and issues with the channel dredging. And but we have working relationships with them. We're also going to be talking about beneficial reuse sites that day as well. So the agenda is going to be worked on more this afternoon at our dredging meeting, and then but that's on October 22nd, and we'll be sending out. I think we've already sent out one invite to people to sign up via Zoom to participate. If you're interested in getting more information about the Bay Planning Coalition, Stas, I'm just going to give my email address real quick and cell phone number, since we're all working remotely now. And it's john@bayplanningcoalition.org. And I'm sorry it's so long, but it's john@bayplanningcoalition.org. And my cell phone is 510-590-0238. And I've got to say, even during this pandemic, as you probably are all finding, we are actually busier in some respects than previously. And what's nice is now some of the regulators are coming to us asking us to help them on their issues and resolve some of their problems. And so we're working more proactively with the regulators. And one of the things we are doing that somewhat, it's going to be related to dredging.
John, I got to cut you off.
Okay. Got a problem. Not a problem. If you need to get a hold of me, you have my cell phone and email number. Use email.
I really appreciate this. And we will distribute the information about your meeting on October 22nd. Thank you very much for that.
Great. Thanks, Stas.
Okay. Jeremy Osborne.
Sure. Thanks, everyone. I'm from Boundary Layer Technologies. We're building hydrofoil cargo ships to ultimately compete and replace air freight. Being in the marine industry, you might be aware what a hydrofoil is, so I'm going to skip over that. But effectively, it lifts the hull out of the water, dramatically improving the efficiency at speed. Air freight is effectively very expensive, highly polluting, and it's not as fast as you might think. So hydrofoil is going to allow us to cross the Pacific in about 6 days, versus quite a similar time. It takes, it will still take you 5 days to get air freight across the Pacific. So it's got a big opportunity to save a lot of money, being significantly less costly, similar speeds, and enable us to have clean propulsion. So it's quite hard to make an electric aircraft or a hydrogen aircraft. The regulation around that is very difficult and takes a large number of years to get a new airframe certified. But using the water method, you can move a lot quicker. You can iterate a lot quicker. So it allows us to take on things like hydrogen propulsion and others. So we moved from Australia here, Ed and myself. Ed's in the dentist right now. In 2019, we raised a couple of $1 million seed round from VCs in the Bay Area. We currently building a 3-ton demonstrator craft that can go 40 knots, all electric here, and that'll be on the water in about a week. And we built a similar size one carrying a single container a year ago, but it went only 14 knots, was gasoline, and not quite demonstrating the technology we need to show off for the big one, not validating those large technological milestones that we need to. We obtained a pre-order from Flexport, which is a digital freight forwarder that's worth about $180 million to us. And so they would be buying the freight on our service and allowing us to then move it across the Pacific. So we're kind of, we're on a mission to change the future of what shipping looks like around the world. We're got a team to do that and demonstrating it to and be able to show off pretty quickly our next prototype. And that will allow us to take a next big stepping stone. Our next vessel is likely to be a ferry. Building say a 9-container vessel to cross the Pacific is a little bit silly. Or like maybe to go to Hawaii. I was in Hawaii looking at getting freight services to Hawaii, but even crossing the Pacific crossing to Hawaii is quite challenging, but maybe doable. A ferry in the Bay Area or California or somewhere it seems to be a better option where we can demonstrate, high speed, reliability, everything's the same, and be a commercial project. So we're kind of in a couple of months, you'll see a lot more material coming around on the ferry and also the larger one. You can sort of see what our vision might look like. And I think that's probably 5 minutes.
Yeah, Jeremy, if you could, you're going to be doing you're going to be doing a test run, a trial next week.
Yep. So it's the first trial. Does it float? You know, start there, and then we'll get the propulsion system nailed out. The wings won't have the active stability control, so it means that we're not going to be going very fast. It's just like testing the cooling system, making sure the safeties are working, make sure all of the stability is good from a buoyancy perspective. But yeah, we'll have that in the water next week.
And Jeremy, where's your boatyard?
We're a base ship and yacht in Alameda.
Okay. Great.
So you can see that's where we're at right now. Oh, you can't see it, sorry. It's all.
Jeremy, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to send me your information and we'll post it on the website.
Absolutely.
So we can get out to the membership, okay?
Sounds good.
And I really appreciate you coming on board. Please extend our best wishes to Mr. Edward in the hopes that he will be recovered. And
yep, no doubt.
Okay, and we'll get an update from you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, one last person, Patrick Neal. Can you come on for just a second?
Sure.
Patrick, can you give us just a real quick update about what's going on the Petaluma River?
Sure. About 2 weeks ago, we deployed our suction dredge up here, Cutter-head suction dredge, various supporting vessels as well, and began dredging the Petaluma River. It's providing some challenges, but work is going well, and we should remain on schedule with the project. It's really in 2 phases. The part we're doing now is with the suction dredge, and then there'll be some clamshell dredging a little later on.
Very good. Patrick, I'm very interested. I live in Santa Rosa. This has been a long, long struggle to get this work done, and we are very, very happy in Northern California that you're finally out there doing the Lord's work.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so on to our main event. Peter Dreyfuss is co-founder and chief operating officer of Watermaster North America, has a 30-year history in commercial real estate, finance, and project management. Based in the Bay Area, he is involved in consultant research, marketing contracts, and finance with Watermaster. Jonathan Dreyfuss, co-founder and CEO of Watermaster, has spent his career in product development, project management. He oversees the marketing, sales, and production operations at the company headquarters in Ann Arbor. And I see that brother Stephen has also joined us. Hi, Stephen. Good to see you. I want to say Peter came to us at our first board meeting this year, I guess in January. And I have been arguing for some time that we need to get outside the box with dredging technology. We see it happening in other parts of the world, and it is very interesting that we now have the first of what I hope will be other innovative programs to reduce dredging costs and make them more efficient. And this is a very, very interesting technology. Peter did a demonstration, an explanation for us. We've been in touch with him for most of the year. One of the challenges, of course, is that the technology originally came from Finland, but good news, they have a manufacturing site at Ann Arbor in Michigan, I guess, and Jonathan is overseeing that. So this will be a Jones Act service made in the United States and available to operate in U.S. waters. We are now on our road for a new age in dredging. And gentlemen, welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Stas. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. This is also eligible for the Guinness Book of Records because never before have the 3 Dreyfuss brothers been on one Zoom call. We're very happy about that. But let me talk about Watermaster. Everyone needs a clean, safe, and well-functioning environment. Regionally and globally, it is the basis of our well-being. I realize I'm preaching to the choir here, but we are dedicated to providing different solutions for clean waterways. We also sell industrial equipment. Watermaster North America is in the business of manufacturing and distributing sophisticated shallow water maintenance and dredging equipment, and dedicated to providing a whole variety of solutions to maintain clean water supplies. The Watermaster AMD 5000 is a 36-foot multi-purpose dredge engineered and manufactured in Finland for over 35 years and currently sold in over 70 countries around the world. It is now being manufactured here under license in the US, in Michigan, in Onaway, making it a Jones Act compliant vessel. What makes this amphibious machine unique is its easy transportability on a standard lowboy. It is self-deploying, which means it will get off that trailer and walk on hydraulic spuds into the water without the use of cranes. It is highly versatile with a wide range of attachments for all types of marine maintenance and construction. Think of it as an amphibious Swiss Army knife for waterways work. One operator can actually drive to a work site, unload the machine, walk it into the water, operate all day, and then put it back on the trailer and go home. It's probably easier to have two guys there, but hey, the Watermaster was born out of necessity. There was no suitable equipment available to maintain the nearly 200,000 lakes and waterways in Finland. Excavators were land-based, and conventional dredgers were too difficult to deploy to suitably do the work in shallow waters. In 1986, the waterways maintenance situation was changed forever with the innovation of the Watermaster Amphibious Multi-Purpose Dredge, AMD. This unique vessel can now work quickly, safely, and efficiently from the water's edge to 20 feet deep. That is our domain. 20 feet is it. This highly functional design has been continuously improved over the course of nearly 35 years of field experience and customer feedback, and we're now on the 5th generation of this machine. What makes the Watermaster a compelling machine for waterways management is it's easily transportable, it's readily deployable, it provides a stable platform for a wide range of attachments for maritime work, it reduces labor and operational costs. Employing the AMD 5000 paired with a wide range of attachments can provide waterways maintenance operators the tools to keep the waters safe, clean, and functioning economically as they should. Now, I should note that the Jones Act is our best friend and our worst enemy. It's kept this machine out of the US, but because we are now working with the USCG and building the hull in Onaway, Michigan at Moran Iron Works, and then putting the very specific parts from Finland onto that hull, we are Jones Act compliant. And we signed a contract 6 weeks ago with the state of New York. So we are currently in production with the first Watermaster to be built in America. And I will now turn this over to Todd, who will show you a brief video that's on YouTube of what this machine can do.
All right, where is it here? Get this full screen.
Let me give some.
Oh, we have sound.
That might just be the day shipping yacht.
Oh, all right.
on
Okay, Peter,
lunchtime.
Peter, you want to?
Well, the truth is I cannot see the video. I can see all you guys, but I can't see the video.
You're not seeing the video.
So that was footage of it. You can see how it's deployed from a lowboy, and it walks hydraulically off the lowboy, and then can walk into any body of water. So no cranes are necessary to deploy this. Then it is self-propelled. It will do approximately up to 5 knots.
Very nice.
And it will do all manner of maritime construction up to 20 feet in depth. From shoreline to 20 feet. That's our niche.
Very good.
It'll do traditional hydraulic dredging. It'll do mechanical dredging with a variety of different buckets we have, including environmental clamshell and tooth bucket, and as well as a material bucket. It covers 130 square yards of area for every pass it makes, so it's a highly efficient vessel in terms of the dredging process. You're spending more time cutting than you are moving, and this is a huge feature of this machine. It'll also do rainbowing, but we don't see much of that done in the US. It's got a comfortable operator's cab. It has no digital readout, so it is reliable. It will not fail the way we see a lot of digital components.
That's a good point. It's designed for the third world, so that allows us to use it too.
Well, what I like is it's one guy doing all of these functions.
Yeah.
Right. So clearly what happens is you're going to see lower operational costs, both in equipment. There's less equipment required to do a job, and your fuel costs are less, your labor costs are less. So it's a very cost-effective piece of equipment. It does all manner of pile driving. It will do underwater demolition. It can lay pipeline. It's being used this winter for ice breaking. It's used all over the world for in mine tailing ponds and in power plants, in their fly ash ponds, for dam maintenance.
And what about the engine, Jonathan?
The engine is a Caterpillar Acer 7.1, 275 horsepower, Tier 4 Stage 5. So it is CARB compliant.
Fantastic. Very, very good, guys. This is my favorite part.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Impressive.
What company is operating this up in Petaluma?
It's not being operated up in Petaluma. This is, the Petaluma dredging is a different project.
Okay.
And this is a shot of the plant in Finland. It's a very sophisticated operation. As you can well imagine, the engineering is absolutely first rate coming out of Scandinavia. I'm sure you're well aware. Again, it's sold in 70 countries. We provide 2 weeks of training with every unit sold at no charge. And that's the video.
And there are 30-year-old machines still operating.
Very good.
Is everybody able to hear? Could
Yeah,
everybody
have
see that?
US has this been procured by any of the US dredging contractors that could then bid on projects?
Dylan, hold on a second. We're going to do the questions at the end. I'll open for questions. I want them to finish the presentation.
I'm going to run through 15 slides quickly, and then we'll open it up to questions and answers, okay?
Thank you.
What the?
Todd, if you're ready.
Yeah, just hang on for a sec. Let me get that off. It's still playing. Okay. Let me, was everybody able to see that? Peter, you said you weren't able to see the video?
No, I saw the video fine.
Huh. Okay.
So let's go to the PowerPoint.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, I got that. Thanks.
Okay, that's the last page.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
All right. Thank you, Stas, and thank you, Peter, for that introduction. I'm Jonathan Dreyfuss, and I'm going to introduce the Watermaster AMD 5000 to you today, which is now made, as we mentioned, for the first time in the U.S. I have actually been trying to get this thing made in the U.S. for 30 years and have been thwarted for that long. And it wasn't until my brother and I got together and laid out a plan for the folks in Finland as to how we might achieve this. Next slide, please. The purpose of this unique vessel is to provide you with the tools to make clean, safe, and well-maintained waterways. And it's once you see how this thing operates, you'll understand how it could fit into your waterway management program. Next slide, please. This versatile machine, the heart of this is the proprietary cutter head, and it's a 10-inch cutter head. It runs at 5,000. The hydraulics run at 5,000 psi. It has a 10-inch discharge pipe, which is capable of pumping up to a mile away without a booster pump and eddy pump. And it can pump straight water up to 1,000 cubic yards an hour, but it will pump typically between 125 and 200 cubic yards of sediment an hour. So let's go to the next slide, please. So in addition to that proprietary cutter pump, there's a wide range of attachments for this thing. You can see in the forefront, there's a 3/4 yard environmental clamshell. Next to it is a toothed 3/4 yard excavating bucket. There's a 9-foot rake for weed removal. There's a head which is on it there for wooden pile drivings. There's a Movax, which is capable of sheet driving for seawall construction. And there's another number of other things, including there's a jackhammer. And so there's really a wide range of options. Next slide, please. As we mentioned previously, one of the key features that makes this vessel unique is the ease of transport. So this will fit on a standard lowboy. The hull is 53 feet. It is 48 to 50 feet long overall length with the boom fully brought in. So it's just, it can go on a standard 25-ton 2-axle lowboy, easy to load, takes very little time. There is the need for another, you could use a gooseneck triaxle on a 1-ton to take the other attachments and the pontoons. So the vessel itself is 10 feet 9 inches wide. So it is a wide load, but it does not require special permitting nor escort vehicles. Next slide. Again, this is a proven and field-tested piece of equipment. It's been out there for 3.5 decades and in 70 countries. And Now we've had the opportunity to start distributing it throughout North America, and we are seeing an incredible amount of interest in this thing, both from in the US and Canada. And again, it is Jones Act compliant. We have our documentation from the Coast Guard, from the NVDC outside of Washington. And so each vessel will come with a certificate that stipulates that it is approved by the Coast Guard for use in trade-wise waters. Next. So most of the time, this vessel is used for dredging. Again, it can do hydraulic dredging, can pump into disposal areas, it can rainbow. It can also do the excavation using the mechanical buckets. And that's the majority of what most of our clients use it for. Next slide. And here's a shot of it doing mechanical dredging. I think this is down Thailand or something. Most of this equipment does go to third world nations. And this is a good place to segue into the components that are used in this vessel. Again, it has the Caterpillar engine. It has Parker Hannifin oil cooling. It has Rexroth hydraulics. It has an automatic greasing arm on it that puts grease out on the arm basically 6 times in a standard work cycle automatically through a Lincoln automatic greasing system. The point being that these parts are available, as I like to say, in any war. You can get parts for this thing anywhere in the world. Perhaps the parts that you would have not sourcing quote locally are the parts that are for the cutter head, and we are sourcing those. We will have our own inventory, and that would typically be the seals, the bearings, and that sort of thing. Most of our customers are going to be purchasing those with the machine so that they have them on hand when this thing requires maintenance. So this is a very straightforward, simple machine to maintain. It's all the components are top drawer, and they are available virtually anywhere. I can get most of these components for this thing right here in Ann Arbor. Next slide, please. Again, for environmental work, for remediation of invasives, I think that's a problem everywhere. I know it's a problem right here in Ann Arbor on the Huron River where I go out kayaking. So this is something when we speak with DNRs in various states, we just spoke with Maine, the DNR, and this guy, when he realized what it could do, both raking and with the hydraulic cutter head, which has a really interesting option of a cutter knife you can attach, so you can dig down and actually cut up the roots of cattails and actually physically remove the structure and pulverize it and pump it again up to a mile away. So this machine has a lot of options to address a lot of different problems that we're all facing. Next slide, please. It'll do pile driving. Again, if you want to do dock construction for marina work, it can remove them. Again, also, if you have concrete work that needs to be removed underneath the water, we have the hydraulic demolition jackhammer. We also have the Movax, which is has the ability to drive sheet steel for seawall construction and repair. Next slide, please. Again, we're not competing with Manson or Dutra and trying to clear out channels for Panamax freighters. We're in the shallow to 20-foot range, and that's our niche. And some people ask the question frequently, well, I got a project at 30 feet, can't you modify it? And the answer is no, we cannot modify it. You're going to have to find another means. We only go up to 20 feet, and that's how this machine is designed. Next slide, please. This is really ideally suited for marinas, with the hull length being 36 feet and just over 10 feet wide. It is really adept at getting into tight spaces and maneuvering in close quarters and doing a wide variety of work that's required in any marinas or ports. So it can do maintenance, it can do new construction, reconstruction. It just depends what you're looking for. We just sent off a quote to a large Canadian port, and they wanted one of everything to maintain their port. They literally asked us to put a quotation together for every single apparatus attachment we had available. Next slide, please. So this machine is designed to maintain our waterways, to keep the shorelines stable with the pile driving options. It will do all manner of maritime construction and maintenance that is required to keep our waterways well maintained. Next slide, please. And should you want to contact us, you can take that information down, but I know my brother Peter will be the point contact in the Bay Area. We're developing regional sales forces, and certainly my two brothers are going to be involved with the Bay Area and the Northern California sales effort. So I'm sure that you can, if you want to contact us here, you can contact my colleague Michael Mooney, who's in charge of national sales. But I think my brothers Peter and Stephen would be probably the best people to contact, and I'm sure that information will be forthcoming from them through Stas.
Yes, Jonathan, we will make sure that we distribute your updated contact information to everybody who's here, so that that information gets out. And before I open this up for questions, I just forgot to mention the Propeller Club and the Society of American Military Engineers are co-sponsoring the Storms, Flooding, and Sea Level Defense 2020 conference. Some of you will recall we did the conference last year at Scott's. This year it's November 18th and 19th via Zoom. If you're interested, please contact me. We are looking at a lot of people this time from across the country. We have ports from Hawaii, Seattle, California, Texas, Louisiana, Missouri, New York, New Jersey, and Rotterdam. The Rijkswaterstaat, which is the Dutch equivalent of the Army Corps of Engineers, will be speaking, and we will be having Jeroen Ertz, who is a pioneer in the identification of resiliency issues, and he advised the city of New York after a number of its hurricanes, and he's been around the world, and he's going to be talking about a investment and resiliency strategy for Shanghai, LA Long Beach, and Rotterdam. And this kind of new idea that you guys are talking about is exactly what we are encouraging people to start participating on. Our issues around storm surges, sea level rise are going to need more advanced dredging capabilities, and I hope at some point that somebody will get us out to 30 feet where we also need some help there, and I know that's beyond where you're going today. With that, I want to open this up for questions, and I'm gonna, we've got some time here, so Dilip, do you want to ask the question that you started to ask a few minutes ago?
Sure, yeah, I can do that. I mean, this looks fantastic. You know, it's a big step up from some of the Aquamog and some of the Ellicott dredges that have done a few projects that we have bid on. Most of them required, you know, a full flexi-float operation and things like that. So to have access to a machine like this, we would probably need to have some contractors who have this equipment. So have you seen interest from some of the smaller dredgers, or is this equipment something that can be bundled and can be leased by them from you and returned to you, or how would it work if we had to
I've talked
spec it for a job?
I've talked to Dutra and Manson. There's no interest yet. I think if they get the right project, they will buy one. The other pitch I'm making is to see if the small marinas, there are 40 of them around the bay, will possibly, if 3 or 4 or 5 of these marinas can get together and buy one machine, it would save millions of dollars of getting rid of their silt every year. So,
Peter, if I could interrupt, I want to say that we very much are interested in this, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to hear from Patrick about Petaluma. Their hangup, as you know, was that they spent I think it was 20 years since the last time they got dredged. And many of the marinas are very, very interested and have talked to me about this idea. And we might do some follow-up just with marinas to get them all in the room to maybe have a conversation about this. So sorry to interrupt.
that's
Dilip,
a great idea.
Tim Aribe.
Yes, thank you. I represent the Aeolian Marina. We dredge every 6 years, and we've been using Salt River now, and we used Cooper Crane before, but they're not around. Their equipment was purchased by San Rafael, the Harbor Master of San Rafael. So I'd be particularly interested.
Great. I mean, I was at one of your board of directors meetings with Hank Lindemann, who introduced me. And he and I are cooking up a plan for marinas.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Very good. Other questions? Yes, Roberto.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me, team?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So far, I think some of my questions are already answered, like the capacity of how far down they can dredge is like 20 feet, right? So I have additional questions related to other areas where this type of equipment can be used, like on a response situation due to a natural disaster, or areas where not necessarily steep draft transit traffic, but you get like your commercial fishing vessel transits and so on. Like for example, the Tomales Bay in Bodega Bay, you know, that entrance right there.
Yep.
It's very shallow, along with other ones are similar. Is this something that, and this the questions for the group, for the dredger group, is this something that you guys are already discussing with Army Corps or any of the not necessarily marinas, but other communities like your commercial fishing vessel that can get a little bit more access by dredging further down, so that way they don't run into issues like shoaling and stuff like that?
Peter?
I think it starts with a work plan designed by an engineering firm, which is really a contract with a city or a county. I guess the question is, who's in charge of the end of Tomales Bay, where the great white sharks go to have babies? Who is in charge? I guess that would be Marin County, right?
It is Marin County.
Yeah. So if Marin County can get enough interest and funds, I suppose, to get an engineering company to design the work plan for your review and all the other governmental agencies, then they can bid it out.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good to know, because I'm looking at not only just the commercial approach, but also things that I know from our operations, that when we're dealing with a lot of search and rescue cases, you know, access to Tomales Bay can be challenging. All depends on the water height, right? But have there been any cases where this vessel was used other than your regular schedule dredging, other functions?
Well, not in America because it's brand new here. I would have to call Finland to find out. But it's useful for a whole variety of applications, obviously.
That's a lot of potential for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a question. Jonathan, the issue of, very quickly, could you explain why it took 30 years to get your Jones Act compliance? And yes, let me start with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Thank you, Stas. I think there are a couple of answers for that. I think the company has changed hands a number of times. And I think it wasn't until recently, in the last 5 years, that they actually put together a somewhat of a plan as to how they may undertake this. They were expanding into new markets around the world, and that was their primary focus. And they always realized that the U.S. was sort of that prime market to go after, but they didn't really have the wherewithals to know how to undertake that. Now, that seems somewhat counterintuitive because it's pretty low-hanging fruit in retrospect, but these were engineers, and they weren't marketing people. And it wasn't until this company grew to a sufficient size where they could actually bring in marketing people to start to really look at give a good hard look at how they might come into the U.S. market. And they had an initial go around that started in I believe 2013 with somebody who said they could do it and they couldn't, and then they approached my brother and I, and we have done.
So my second follow-up question to this is a little technical, but the challenge of the engineering drawings, the project I worked on, the engineering drawings that came from Europe were not easily translatable at an American yard because they did not have the same level of sophistication.
Right.
So the engineering drawings had to be much more specific. Could you just briefly address that issue?
Yeah, we have a detailer that's been hired to do the conversions from metric to imperial. And that has been a month and a half long process. It's 300 drawings that have had to be converted from metric to imperial at pretty significant cost. And then checked, because it's really bad to weld a vessel together and find your dimensions are wrong.
Oh no! Gee, so I see Jeremy holding his head out there, and he's not okay. It's all right. Now, with the project we worked on, we insisted that the yard do everything in metrics. And they said that they could do that, but is there a challenge for a yard doing dimensional work in metrics?
Yeah, absolutely. But what is going to happen eventually is this vessel is going to be 100% manufactured in the U.S. and there will be no longer any importation from Finland. So we decided we would pull the trigger with that conversion process starting now. Right now, that ACERT C7 is coming out of the UK and is going to Finland and then being shipped over here. And what we think is going to make much more sense is us to be ordering that exact same identical engine out of Peoria and just shipped up to northern Michigan. Good. So eventually, this entire vessel will be manufactured and sourced 100% here in the U.S.
Oh, that is so.
We have started that process of conversion to imperial.
Okay, Jeremy, did you want to say something?
As a person from the metric world and launching a company in the US, it's very entertaining sometimes when we have to deal with the unit conversions, and I'm learning but it's a very challenging process. And we're a metric company, kind of aerospace, but for procurement purposes, we have to convert. So it's painful. And so my shaking my head was just to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
I do hate yards. Just a personal peeve. I just hate them.
Jeremy, have you found that some of your steel can only be sourced from Canada?
If we're using metric, you mean?
No, just to build your
No. At the moment, we've built aluminum, so it's our vessels. We're effectively an airplane, so it's too heavy if it's steel. Well, we'd like to. It'd be great if it was steel. Steel's got a lot of advantages, but it's more likely to be aluminum.
So you're sourced all here in aluminum.
Yeah.
As you pronounce it. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't have dental work today, right, Jeremy?
No, Ed just walked in and he's holding his jaw and he's like, and so
tell him we send our best.
I will.
Okay. Do I have another question?
I had another question. This is Dylan again.
Yeah.
In terms of anchoring, self-anchoring, I guess is it on spuds then? I guess one each.
There are 4 points of contact with the bottom. There are two 30-foot spuds that are hydraulically operated in the rear, and that's also what makes it walk. And then there are 2 what I would call outriggers with pods on them, and those pods have teeth on the bottom of them, and those sink to the bottom, and those 4 points are what stabilizes the vessel over a work site.
I see. And so it could take some amount of local chop from our winds here, especially if it's a large lake or if it's in the bay. If you were to use this, yeah. Okay.
Other questions?
Quick question. What does a rig like this cost?
The base price is $1.25 million.
Okay. And any attachments, like say the what is that?
Fully loaded with the surround sound. It's probably, with every option conceivable, is going to be about 1.7.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions?
I got a question. Do you also manufacture a dump scow to go along with the dredger? Reason I'm asking is most of my permits up here in Anacortes requires that I transport the material for upland disposal, so I have to handle the material a couple times, dredge it out, dump in the scow, and then transport it upland trucking to haul to the landfill. So do you guys make a miniature size scow to operate in a marina as well?
There is one under design that I have done right now, and we are evaluating it for manufacture. It is basically the equivalent size of the Watermaster, and it is essentially a barge that will allow one end of it to open up, similar to a landing craft, that will allow access for the material to be removed. And so we're evaluating that model. We probably will also just have a standard barge that matches the same dimensions to fit probably 2 of them stacked on a lowboy. But they will not be self-unloading or anything. They'll just be barges.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was attracted to this idea because we need to change the paradigm in dredging in the United States. And this begins that journey. And I'm really heartened that after 30 years, Jonathan, you did manage to get us across the street on the Jones Act issues, and you're to be complimented for that great work, because there has been, I've heard from several Dutch companies that were down in the Gulf, and Dilip is familiar with them, that there was effort to try and get the dredgers that they were bringing in from abroad to be Jones Act, and they didn't want to build them in the US. And your efforts to go and do it in the United States and all the struggle that you went through, I hope will make it easier for others following in your footsteps, and that we agree that we need to have globally competitive maritime technology available in the United States, because it's not 1956 anymore.
Yeah.
Very good point.
We don't want anybody following in our footsteps, okay?
All right. Okay.
But Stas, everything else you say is right.
All right.
It took a few years to get the workaround approved by the Coast Guard, but they were very cooperative. So.
Okay, Roberto, you heard that, right?
Yep.
Coast Guard gets a thumbs up here.
I'm clear.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, let me ask, does anybody else have any questions?
No, but I would love to see a Zoom presentation by Jeremy once his ship gets seaworthy.
We're working on Jeremy and his dental challenged colleague.
Yep, sounds good.
So I hope that we're going to see something. You're going to send us something next week, Jeremy.
Yeah, so it depends how the first launch goes. As we send it next week, the video we'll see. It's the first trial. But what I will do is I'll send you some info, so you've got at least our contacts. And I mean, everyone has our contacts. But the video of the first launch, it's going to be exciting. Bit nerve-wracking. I've got to go back in the workshop, and we're loading the batteries in today. So yeah, we've got a ton of batteries going in. So,
what day is the launch?
It'll be about Wednesday, give or take, if we have to scrub due to weather, but we'll see.
Great.
We wish you the best of luck, Jeremy.
Very exciting.
And Ed, both of you, and we're very, very interested in following your progress. So good luck from us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I want to thank Jonathan and Peter. We have been interested in your concept since you came to us in January. I'm interested in all of your progress and any dissemination that we can do from the Propeller Club standpoint. We are here to help support you. This is really great stuff. You are to be commended for the Jones Act effort. That is really, really a very, very outstanding thing that you have done. And I hope it helps educate other people about the possibilities.
Well, thank you, Stas.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
A great audience. And I just want to finish by saying I'm going to vote for Stas for president, not just of the Propeller Club.
Don't get me in trouble here. I'm just a simple servant of the truth.
Well, you're
the Stas.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stas.
Okay.
Thank you all for your time. We really appreciate it. And
thank you, everyone.
I'm sure the contact information will be put out there. And please, you're welcome to give either Peter or myself a shout if you have any other questions.
So, guys, before you go, I will get the contact information out. I want to just tell you that our next meeting is Tuesday, October 13th. We have a harbor trucking upgrade. And Scott Taylor, who's GSC Trucking, who is Vice President of the Harbor Trucking Association, and Weston Labar will be speaking to us. Weston is the President of the Harbor Trucking Association. Harbor trucking is a big issue. We are very concerned about maintaining our situation in a very tough COVID situation. So I hope you'll join us for that. I want to thank the Dreyfuss brothers for all of their efforts. I want to conclude with those of you who are working on the water and in our harbors, that you are doing valuable work keeping our infrastructure going. Susan for Hawaii, and Ron Brown at the port, Roberto at the Coast Guard, and all of you, thank you very much. Please be careful. You are doing very, very valuable work for all of us. We value your efforts, and thank you for your service. And on that note, all of you take care of yourselves, and I hope that we will see some of you on October 13th, and best wishes.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
Thank you for setting it up. Yes, appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.